recovering post-grad degree addict who is now a work-at-home mom raising 3 incredibly loud, incredibly wonderful children ages 7, 4, and 2. If you want to learn more about secular, scientific, and yet spiritual homeschooling and parenting, you have come to the right place. So please hit the subscribe button below so you don't miss any more videos. Today I'm bringing you an eBay thrifty kind of book haul for homeschool, specifically for kindergarten. I look at eBay all the time. I like to look at them for either specific curriculum choices that I'm interested in or for just general book lots. A lot of people, when they end homeschooling, they tend to list a lot of their materials for incredible discounts, or every year as they finish a year for their last child, they'll list like an entire first grade curriculum. Sometimes they'll list a specific boxed curriculum for much less than a boxed curriculum would go for, because I do think that some boxed curriculums are priced ridiculously high. So one of the curriculums that I had just searched for, and what you do is you enter in the search box. You can either do something general like homeschool, and then in parentheses you can put options. For example, Calvert, comma, Oak Meadow, comma, Sunlight, comma, Bookshark, close parentheses, and it'll pull up anything that has homeschool in the listing title, as well as any of those other names that you mentioned. Or you can do a specific search just for Oak Meadow kindergarten curriculum. Or you can type in something like Sunlight, parentheses, Core A, close parentheses, and I'll just pull up that. This time I just happened to pull up, I think, something like kindergarten curriculum, parentheses, lot. And the word lot will give you people who have listed something in bulk. So in general, they will use the word lot in their title or their description, and it should come up. So those lots tend to be priced fairly low compared to individual items, I find. This particular one was the Calvert Homeschool Kindergarten reading curriculum, and I think I got a really good deal. I got all the kindergarten reading books for Calvert for $40. So that was 30 books for $40. They are all paperback, but I'm really happy with them, and I'll just go through and show you real fast. I really don't have an interest in Calvert's curriculum because I want to stay away from like a purely worksheet kind of school at home approach, but I do like getting readers that are age appropriate and grade appropriate without too much effort on my part. So this way I can have sort of throw them into our regular bookshelves behind me, like for, you know, my 4-year-old's library, and she can pick them up and we can use them as nighttime reading, we can use them as daytime reading, not necessarily for curriculum during homeschool, though we might do that, but I just like to have age-appropriate books on hand. The first one is by Tommy DePaola, Mice Squeak, We Speak, and it seems adorable. It goes through with animal sounds. I really like the illustrations, so a nice book there. Mouse's Birthday by Jane Yolen. You have to love everything by Jane Yolen. Again, really pretty illustrations. Feathers for Lunch, and beautiful illustrations. One of the reasons I like building a child's library here as opposed to just library books is I like them to become familiar with some books and have favorites and be able to pull them out again and again to learn how to put their own books back on their own shelf, and all of that. I like them to have a library and get in the culture of building their own library one day. We have a friend who is a journalist, and he was dating a girl, and he went to her house and he said later that he couldn't continue dating her because she only had 6 books in her house, which I thought was hilarious, and I think a pretty good reason to stop dating anyone. I will be totally prejudiced about that. If you have less than 10 books in your home, I don't know what to say. The Calf Has Grown. This is Spring Is Here by Taro Gomi. Taro Gomi, I believe, is the author of what is that book? Everybody Poops. Is he? I don't know, but my kids love that book. And Chicken Soup with Rice. Let's see if we can get closer. This is by Maurice Sendak. I love everything by Maurice Sendak. Of course, he wrote Where the Wild Things Are. But if you haven't gone to the library and picked up some of his lesser known books, you really should. They are lovely. And Maurice Sendak is famous for having said that he doesn't write for children, that he writes and people decide that they're children's books. And I get so much personally out of Maurice Sendak's books. I think they are tiny, beautifully illustrated treatises on life, and much more about philosophy than anything else. Chicken Soup with Rice is one of our favorites here. We actually have a small thumbnail version of this in a little hardback nutshell library, but this will be nice to have another one. Kevin and His Dad rather, by Irene Smalls. Really pretty. Here Are My Hands by Bill Martin and John Archambault. That is a significant last name. Here Are My Teeth for Chewing and Brushing. And then it has like a little social studies link at the end on feelings. Really beautiful quality books. Tortillas and Lullabies. I also like that when you get a boxed curriculum kind of lot book set, you get a lot of social studies thrown in, a lot of variety, a lot of cultural appreciation in there because they've already done that work for you. So this goes on, and this is, it has English at the top and Spanish at the bottom, which is nice. I am teaching my kids Spanish because, of course, their father's heritage is Cuban Puerto Rican. So I'd like them to learn Spanish. I took Spanish for quite a few years. I did AP Spanish, and I would like to be better at speaking Spanish, but my pronunciation is horrible, but I understand everything, so there's that. Cows in the Kitchen by June Crebin. Again, really nice illustrations, bright and easy. All to Build a Snowman. This would have been nice to have for winter. And then the illustrations. My Dad and I by Julio Ricardo Berga. Again, really nice, easy to read, nice words. I had actually taken a course in law school on how best to read to children to improve their reading fluency, to make them more comfortable with reading. And one of the best tips that I heard was try to move your finger along the words as you read to them so that they understand that these words, these symbols, these scratchings at the bottom have significance, that they translate into words, and they do absorb a lot just from that simple action. So as you go along, I tend to, with my 4-year-old, say, like, as I get to I say, can you tell me that? And she knows her letter, so she knows how to read I, and I say, look, you're reading. And then I say, like, at the end of a sentence, we put a period, and just little comments like that will stick with them in a very non-stressful way. It's one of the reasons I like books that have really clear print for children, like not the fancy fonts and things like that, because it's, at this stage, it can be hard to understand that, oh, like a fancy N is the same as a regular N. So this was, In the Big Blue Sea by Ching Feng Sun. And it has real photographs and text below. Erin and Gayla's Alphabet Book. And this also has a social studies link. So this goes through letters, and it has a sentence with a word. So we run for R. And really lovely little illustrations. Runaway, based on a Kootenai tale by Gerald McDermott. I think I'm falling out of the frame there. Oh, and this has very kind of like Eric Carle illustrations. Really fun. Feast for 10 by Catherine Falwell. And this goes through numbers, I believe. So 4, 8, 9, chairs, things like that. Splash by Flora McDonald. And it also has really nice big clear words at the top and actual photographs of different animals. 10 Little Puppies by Elena Vasquez. And it's a story, and I think it goes through counting them. Oh, one of our favorites, I Went Walking. I have the board book of this, and all 3 children have loved it. Of course, I got it from a thrift store, but definitely one of our family favorites. And when I see a family favorite, I like to pick up more copies at thrift stores if I see them anyway, because then all of them can hold one. As I'm reading, all of them can turn the pages. They don't fight over it. It's nice for them to see and understand that books come in different editions. They can come in different sizes and still be the same story. Oh, they're gonna love this to see it big. The Wheels on the Bus. Can everybody say that we have heard that song too many times? My children adore it and ask for it on the radio, in the car, all the time. And I'm tired of the wheels on the bus. But sometimes I sing it almost as a meditation. Like if I'm getting frustrated and they're getting worked up, I'm like, does anyone want to hear Wheels on the Bus? And I'll start singing and they all sing along and we all like calm down. You got to do what works, right? Look for the wheel at the fair. What does it do? Look for the wheel at the cage. What does it do? So this is a nice little story about the wheels on the bus, which is nice. And then it has actual photographs at the end about wheels. So nice version of that. Vroom Chugga Vroom Vroom, which I have not heard of, by Anne Miranda, and it includes a science link at the end. So this has like, again, a counting kind of story, and then the science link has like more about wheels, so skateboards and wheelchairs and things like that. So that's nice. Now I'm Big, and I've noticed that a lot of these are published by Houghton Mifflin, which obviously is a very good children's publishing company. So this is all about when I was a baby and all the way to how you are now and how you're different, which is nice to know, by Margaret Miller. Ooh. Benny's Pennies by Pat Brisson. This has paper art in it. I think that's lovely. My son especially really enjoys doing paper art, and he's 7. I think a lot of people stop reading picture books to their children once they become strong readers. My son reads very well, probably at a 2nd or 3rd grade level. So I still read picture books to him, and he really enjoys it, not only because of the illustrations, but because of the stories. I think they contain a lot more than people give them credit for. There's a lot of lessons in there, and lots of beauty, and lots of real life situations that I think it's important to relay to children even after they learn how to read beyond the level of a picture book. This is Friends at School by Richelle Bonnet. Really nice illustrations, or photographs rather, and it talks about what school might be like. This looks like a Montessori classroom. It's nice, especially for homeschooled kids, to know what goes on at school, and if they go to co-op and stuff, it prepares them for that kind of environment, so that's important. I Need a Lunchbox by Jeanette Keynes. And this talks about going to 1st grade and needing a pencil case and a lunchbox and things. And again, like, they're going to need that for things like co-op and group activities that they do in homeschool. And also, if you ever do send your children back to school, you don't want them to be completely confused about what's going on there. Shoes from Grandpa by Mem Fox. Really nice, really clear illustrations, clear text. What Will the Weather Be Like Today by Paul Rogers. Beautiful cut work type of illustration. Jonathan and His Mommy by Irene Smalls. Again, you'll notice a lot of these books are multicultural and display different people of different ethnicities. I very much like that. Wheels Around by Shelley Rotner. I think they do have a lot of wheel books in the kindergarten Calvert curriculum. So that's still nice. I like to expose girls and boys to things from both sides. So The Story of Half Chicken, a folktale from Spain and Latin America. This seems really cute. The fire is talking, the wind is talking. So there's lots of little ideas for you to talk about with your kids. I was really happy with this haul. Again, $45 for 30 books. They are paperback, but I think it's a really good deal. I think it They're a really nice little cohesive collection. It seemed very multicultural, very multi-ethnic, a lot about wheels. So if you have a child who's interested in wheels and cars, I think that's a good thing to look for. Again, really, if you haven't looked on eBay yet, go ahead and do that. A couple little tricks: if you search for a word like homeschool, put an asterisk after it, because that way it'll search automatically for anything that says homeschool, homeschooling, homeschools, homeschooler. It'll just automatically search for anything with any associated suffixes. So that was my Calvert Kindergarten reading haul from eBay. I'm very pleased with it. I think what I'll be doing with these books is putting them straight onto the shelf and using them during reading time, and leaving them up to her to select for nighttime reading. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please hit the thumbs up down below and don't forget to subscribe. Have a wonderful day.